Mario. Everyone knows Mario. He's the most iconic video game character of all time, and the mascot of the biggest video game company of all time. Mario has been the focal point for countless video games and has had just as many stories written for him. So, with Mario being such a pop culture icon, you would guess that making a movie about him would be a piece of cake. But that isn't the case. Making a movie based off anything instantly adds the challenge of pleasing both the fans of the source material and newcomers. And we see this with books, musicals, plays, and anything that gets adapted into a movie. But video games are a different beast entirely. Video games are this type of double-edged sword of hardcore fans and people who have never touched a video game. So when you take the world's most iconic game mascot and make a movie for him, you're going to be asking for trouble. But before we get too far into the movie, remember we're going to be using the Movie Master Xander movie rating scale. Now, this scale takes every part of a film and gives it a score out of 20. These parts being writing, acting, visuals, audiography, and then the overall execution of the film. And then we add those all up and give it the Movie Master Xander's percentage score. To kick things off, we're going to be discussing the writing of the film. The Mario movie is definitely a cutesy kids film, and it knows it. It's made by Illumination, which is the studio behind Despicable Me and the Minions movies, but for the most part, you don't feel the influence from these movies, which is a nice thing to see. A lot of the movie is genuinely funny, and it also feels like a grand adventure, though it is a rushed one. Often when watching the Mario movie, you feel like everyone is rushing through each scene, ignoring character motivation and plot-driven motivation to help Mario just because, well, he's Mario. It's the Mario movie. You have to help Mario. But regardless, the movie still respects itself and its characters, and it's nice to see a movie take itself seriously, with the Mario Brothers story being taken very seriously. Mario's hero's journey is a nice breath of fresh air. Instead of the rinse and repeat story of, you will be great one day, you just don't see it yet. We get a journey of perseverance where the hero may not succeed instantly, but he gets up and tries again. And that's why he's the hero, because he keeps going even though he's failed and failed and failed. And that's a great message for a kids' movie. Also, Luigi is not forgotten. He is Mario's heart, and their brotherhood and partnership is what keeps them both going. But when it comes to the assortment of allies that Mario meets along the way, this being Peach and Donkey Kong and Toad especially, we are left with unfinished and forgotten storylines and character arcs that are given basically no resolution, or maybe even not started at all. But, that's okay, because for the man-children in the audience, the writing does a pretty great job at jamming just about as much Mario soy jack material as it possibly can, ensuring that the movie is jam-packed with as much nostalgia as it possibly could be. And, of course, I would imagine that would be a direct cause for the story feeling disjointed at points, because the movie really feels like it is just missing scenes. 2, to be exact. The first of which is definitely the most noticeable. Throughout the film, Bowser continuously receives convenient intelligence from his troops, and this intelligence is the driving force for Bowser and everything that he does throughout the movie. And, of course, the audience never gets to see who that informant is or how he was receiving information in situations where nobody else but Mario and Peach and Toad were present, leaving us guessing that Kamek was just behind the scenes with a script, relaying important information to Bowser whenever it was needed. The other of these missing scenes comes at the climax of the film, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but 2 of our characters have been captured. Then the next scene that we see them, they have already hatched a plan, completed all the steps to the plan, and are about to execute it. And this has no prior setup or logical explanation that has been given to the audience, so you feel a disconnect. And this disconnect makes you feel that the only reason that they succeeded in this was so that the rest of the film can take place. So, with these 2 scenes just gone, and the side characters of the movie left forgotten, and the resolution feeling rushed like most of the film does. The story can't be saved by its charm or its heartwarming message, receiving a 10 out of 20 for the writing. But when it comes to performances in the movie, I was surprisingly pleased. Despite all of the worry about Chris Pratt being Mario and the weird accent that was given in the trailer, all of the performances were great. I knew that actors like Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach or Keegan-Michael Key as Toad and especially Jack Black as Bowser were going to be great. But when it was Charlie Day as Luigi, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and like I said, Chris Pratt as Mario, I was a little nervous, and I'm sure the rest of you were too. I was going to think that most of the performance in the movie was just going to be reading through lines, going through the motions with nothing extra added. But as the movie went on, I could truly feel the passion in all of the performances in the movie. Even when it comes down to random toads and some really out there side characters, everyone all around did a fantastic job. The highlight for me personally, though, was definitely Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. Anya Taylor-Joy is a professional, and she's been in a lot of great films, and I was kind of excited to see her in something like this. And what she does with Peach in the movie is really strong. Her performance makes you feel this internal conflict where she isn't entirely sure of herself and knows that she's in over her head most of the time, which just makes it feel great. And so, with all of these performances being a knockout, I am proud to give the Mario movie a 20 out of 20 for acting. It was just a great job all around. Along with the performances in the film, the Mario movie also sports incredible visuals. From the epic vistas of the different Mario kingdoms to goofy squash and stretch comedic animation given to characters, the visuals are a knockout. Illumination is definitely one of the top dogs in animated films now, and this is the first film I have seen of theirs that really shows that prowess. But along with the beauty factor, the Mario movie also features some great camera work. Every action scene is fluid and exciting, with some incredible 2D set pieces that will make you feel as if you're watching some Mario savant speedrun the game. So, with the combination of beautiful animation and great camera work and no real complaints that I have, I'm definitely going to give Mario a 20 out of 20 for visuals. But sadly, praise ends quickly when it comes to the audiography of this film. I will say that everything sounds like it should. Every Mario sound effect that you would ever hope to hear is there. But the movie is really lacking when it comes to a score. And I have to say, I have the same complaint for the Sonic movies. The studios didn't want to or couldn't use the music featured in actual Mario games, except for maybe a few, but they also didn't want to make an entirely new soundtrack because that would either be too much money or too much work, or it would also probably upset fans because they didn't get to hear that classic Mario theme. So instead, we get this half baked soundtrack of musical stings of the old Mario games and original score that isn't very good. And this is really disappointing because we lose out on really Mongo Jam music that is found in Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy, and Mario Kart. So, for doing the bare minimum when it comes to audiography, I have to give the Mario movie a bare minimum score of 5 out of 20. And so we come to the overall execution of the film's goals. And like I alluded to earlier, the goal of this film was to make a movie about everyone's favorite plumber. Illumination was given the job to make a movie that will please hardcore fans along with introduce newcomers. And I have to say, I believe that they succeeded. Mario has been given a proper backstory and a hero's journey. The movie does a great job at easing the audience into the goofy logic of Mario and its world, along with introducing all of the classic characters everyone wants to see. Despite fumbling a few times along the way, taking convenient avenues to move the plot along, and maybe introducing a bit too much lore at a time without properly explaining it or giving it time to set in, the Mario movie still succeeds at what it set out to do and delivers an entertaining movie that introduces the Mario universe to newcomers and features a lot of great Mario stuff that fans just want to see on the big screen. So, for overall execution, I will give the Mario movie a solid 15 out of 20. Here we are, the end of the line. The Mario movie has received a 10 out of 20 for writing, but a 20 out of 20 for both visuals and acting, but really fumbled the bag when it comes to audiography, only receiving a 5 out of 20. At the end of the day, though, it gets a solid 15 out of 20 for overall execution, leaving it at an average of about 70% on the Movie Master Xander Movie Master rating scale. I would say if you have a kid or you need to blow a couple of hours, you should go see this movie in theaters. You'll have a good time, especially if you go with some friends. But if you were thinking about seeing this over something else that's in theaters that could be better, I would say give it a pass and wait for Netflix to scoop it up.